So, welcome, Tarry. Thank you so much for this amazing session. I have certain questions that I want to ask from the GreyAtom team and
Sure.
the DataGiri team. My first question would be, how has your experience been interacting with the DataGiri team for the first time?
I mean, I was totally blown away actually because I know I put on a sort of a request on LinkedIn, and someone had tagged Shweta, one of your co-founders, and so she reached out to me and she moved really fast. So I thought, wow. And I think the initial interaction already led me to believe that, well, this seems like a very promising sort of place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the interaction throughout this journey of, how we connected in a very sort of, rapid fashion in social media, on LinkedIn, and all the way till here, it was actually executed quite, flawlessly. Yeah, I was really amazed. So I'm pretty excited to be sort of, be with you guys here.
Thank you for the feedback, Tarry. And how has been your experience today? You've seen a huge crowd turning around, interested in what you just
Yeah.
mentioned.
That's again another question. So I think I had joked on LinkedIn, I think that, okay, let's, push to 500 to 1,000 registrations. And I saw that, there were more than 800 already. So you crossed the 800 mark and probably still going higher.
Yeah.
But I also know in a real world, when you have people registering, few people turn up. So when I saw this hall, and it was full with people, and probably 80% of people were new. It probably shows, how you guys can execute and are able to ramp up and bring people together,
Mm-hmm.
and also how definitely data science is a very interesting field, so people want to know about it. But the turnout was. It blew my expectations. I was thinking, well, not too many people will turn up because, it's Monday evening, you have better things to do. But I believe people really think that the better thing to do is to be here.
Just to be here.
Yeah,
Yes,
wow,
absolutely.
it's great.
So my next question to you would be, DataGiri is a community, and how do you think communities generally help in the process of learning? What is your take on it?
So I think, for me, a community that doesn't help each other is not a community in itself. And I mentioned that, maybe I alluded to workplace, which actually is just a place where people, serve their own sort of purpose and get their paycheck. In a community, the common goal is to work together, to build things together.
Absolutely.
And I think what you're facilitating is an amazing platform for people to come. I believe the way forward is to work together in a tangible way. And I also am a proponent of commercializing and making a monetary transaction with because you need to do some interesting things. So make it something that has an interesting output to solve a problem. And I think then interacting in a community becomes a very, very, it goes viral. It's very infectious. It's very good.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that. And what do you have to say about DataGiri community? You've seen tremendous output over here today. So what do you feel?
I feel, wow, I mean, thank you for asking that because, I know Shweta, I've been, chatting with her and the other co-founders of this community. I think the way you guys have ramped up already in the second year, I think, I don't know, is it 100,000?
Yes,
You have been
100,000,
to, I
yes.
was told in the car that, you've traveled to UK, so
Yes.
it's expanding. So you definitely have the sort of magic sauce, whatever that is. I mean, just, keep doing what you guys are doing. I think now would be really amazing time to sort of move into the workings of making communities so essential and so important that huge number of people that believe in what you are set out to, being such a young outfit, only 2 years old, you will sustain, this in a long run, in a very, very interesting way.
Thank you. And what advice would you like to give to the aspiring data scientists who, prefer doing online certifications or going on the certification mode? What are your suggestions on that?
So I think what I would suggest is, online certification has a certain sort of, sense of, reward and appreciation, and you should congratulate yourself on getting that online certification. But I want to maybe probably give you a little bit of a hard talk that, if you are not really practically solving something and finding connections to solve a problem in any industry vertical, whether it is agriculture, farming, marine farming, healthcare, and probably more obvious solutions that are there in front of you, maybe in retail or space management. And someone spoke about town planning today. These are things that can be solved with data science. They are, people are already working on solutions in isolation, which is a pity. So I think, so combination would be to feed your ideas into this incubator and accelerator kind of format with your DataGiri. That could be probably the next beautiful pivot. And in that pivot, you could start looking at, well, can we use drones where we have, permissions from the authorities, and then eventually start, understanding that sort of town planning sort of current structure. So the things that we are looking from ground zero level and trying to understand, which is what we've been doing. Today we have been given those extra set of eyes, and data science and deep learning is becoming very interesting. So if you are not imaginative about what you want to solve, the certification is going to just end up eating a lot of dust, and you wouldn't actually be reaching far. So get your certification to understand fundamentals, get the real world projects to become an expert in that area.
I completely agree with you, Tarry. And in fact, at GreyAtom, which is born out of DataGiri, we work on doing that. The entire motto is to learn by doing, real work, and that's how it's going to excel in this field. Somebody's going to excel in this field. And my last question to you would be to know more about your journey. Just please help us. How have you been so far? You have 3 startups right now. How has been the journey so far? What are the challenges? What have you learned? And if you would like to give those takeaways to the learners out there in the world.
So first of all, I think anybody can do what I've done. So there is no special magic sauce. It's just there's no secret sauce. It's just perseverance and again, I don't want to, it sounds pretty sort of very jargonish. I think so there is something you can do. I know I was good at math. I know I love nature. I know I love science. I know I'm fascinated by neuroscience, and for me, finding these and sort of erecting these companies, and I actually came out of ideas. Mm-hmm. So everybody has ideas. So I made an idea a reality, and I'm taking bold steps. And even today, at this point of time, people, my chief operating officer, other people, they're all coming to me and they're scared because they see me. It's almost like. And that's how they really see me, is this guy walking in a jungle. He has this long machete, and you're just cutting and you're moving into this unsupervised space. And suddenly you say, wow, I found this. And people say, what is it? And then suddenly everybody says, hey, hang on, yeah, it makes sense. And sometimes a lot of things don't make sense as well. So then you have to keep throwing those out of those, ideas. So making sense of an idea and making it viable and seeing and validating its viability by finding an end customer saying, well, what do you think about this? I said, wow, it makes sense. Is a great way to erect and to sustain something which makes sense that will live. It's like a baby that has to also live. It's not sort of a project that has no hope. And some projects you have to push hope, right? So that is something which I've been doing. And it has its own failures and sets of challenges. And for me, I think that is the way I have been able to select and deselect a lot of things and select the key things that make me sort of, help them run and hopefully also sustain in the next coming years.
Very nice. Thank you so much. One last thing. Last 3 takeaways for any aspiring learner. Just 3 words.
Oh wow! Last 3 words. I guess solve if you for an aspiring learner. If you are looking from the solution perspective, you have a longer chance to sustain your learning process. If you look from a learning perspective, it's really true. You will get distracted. You will find something else to do because you didn't look at what you were going to solve. I think that is the single most important thing, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you want to learn data science. If you are not looking at the end goal, whatever that it can be, then you're just starting at the beginning and not knowing where you will end up. That's not a way to sustain your passion. So I would say find a goal and then work your way back, almost reverse engineer, and say, okay, this is what I have to do, and then you can go back to that goal which you envisioned and make it a reality.
Thank you so much, Tarry, for answering all those questions. It was nice having you.
Thank you very much.